Some of these people are doing research on glaciers on a mountain, but what they found was something new and surprised them. Not only that, the strange glacier samples showed signs of life, until something terrible happened. At the beginning of the film, there is a woman named Bert waking up a man named Yannick. Bert did not dare to enter Yannick's cabin because of his dog. Yannick, who heard the commotion, then woke up from his sleep. Yannick is a researcher and climber. Together with several people, they are doing research on glaciers on a mountain. This will be a tiring job because some of them will climb and find the glacier. When he was about to get ready, Yannick saw his dog named Tinny staring at something. Whatever it was, it seemed that Tinny felt danger around him. At that time, Yannick, Tinny, and a man named Falk who were going to climb. Preparations have been made, and now it's time for them to move. When a few hundred meters away, Tinny barked again, as if she had found something. And sure enough, Tinny found a hill with a glacier that was quite strange, blackish red. This is a strange discovery. Falk took a sample of the glacier to be studied in the lab. When Yannick and Falk were busy doing their work, Tinny heard something from inside a cave, not far from there. Tinny entered and found a fox that looked in pain, lying weakly with a bloated stomach. Meanwhile, Falk, who was monitoring the glacier, suddenly fell because he heard Tinny's voice in the cave. Even Yannick panicked and looked for Tinny. Yannick found Tinny in a painful condition with a wound on her stomach. Yannick also saw that the fox that Tinny saw was dead. In that condition, they had to return to base and give the sample to Bert, one of the most expert researchers. Bert found something unique in the sample. There was a living cell, but it was very fragile. The outside air made the cells die quickly, so Bert invited Yannick to take the sample again, but Yannick didn't want to. Harold also advised them to rest and take the sample again the next day. On the other hand, several people got off the helicopter. One of them was Tanja. They are a team from the Ministry of Environment. They will go to meet Yannick and the others. Not long after, Yannick got a call from Tanja that they will meet Yannick and the others. Probably tomorrow morning they will start leaving there. At that time, Yannick wanted to tell Tanja that it would be better to postpone their trip, especially since there was a bad incident that day. But Tanja said that he brought the ministry and it was impossible to change the schedule suddenly. A few moments later, Yannick fainted due to exhaustion and too much drinking unclear drinks. When night, Yannick woke up and felt something was in their research camp. The sound was so loud that Yannick tried to find out what was happening. Yannick saw an animal figure eating something behind their camp. But the figure left because the sound of Yannick's walkie-talkie disturbed him. It turned out that the figure did not leave. A large beetle that mutated into something very scary tried to attack Yannick. Fortunately, the monster beetle left him, but Yannick asked his friends to be careful because they were not alone. The beetle became very large and could even kill a human. Yannick assumed that the beetle had a rabies disease transmitted by the fox that Tinny found. This incident made Yannick want to tell Tanja to postpone their trip there immediately. This was very dangerous, but Bert and the others let it happen and covered up what happened in their camp. Yannick still wanted to prevent Tanja and his team from postponing the trip, but it seemed that Tanja also considered it serious. The next day, Yannick took Bert to take samples of the glacier again, but when they arrived there, the red color had disappeared. In the end, Bert still took the glacier sample, even though it was not the same as yesterday. While Yannick urinated not far from there, then he was surprised there was something near his feet. A creature that looked like a tick, but with a larger size, even as big as a cat. On the other hand, Tanja and the team were traveling to Yannick's camp, slowly but surely. Yannick and Bert brought the tick home to the camp for research. This was no ordinary tick. It was the first time they had seen a tick this big. Did this have anything to do with the fox in the cave? And sure enough, Bert took something from the tick's stomach and found the same cells as yesterday's glacier sample. This would definitely be a problem. The tick might come from a fox that was infected by the evil cell. while Yannick and his team started having problems. One of the men, named Urs, was bitten by a mosquito of an unusual size. The mosquito bit Urs' neck. Bert began to explain the possibility of the cell infecting living things around it. The evil cell apparently could not survive long outdoors or in the air. To survive, the cell will infect animals or other living things to be used as hosts. That way, a new species will be born from the infected host. You could say the result of the combination of evil cells with their mutated hosts. Suddenly, Yannick remembered his dog. Yannick saw a wound on his stomach when he found Tinny in the cave. Yannick once again tried to contact Tanja and asked her to use another faster route, even though the road was steep. Yannick also told her about the fox disease. At first, Tanja was not sure, but in the end they did what Yannick ordered. Yannick started to think badly about his dog. He even wanted to finish him off. But Yannick couldn't stand seeing Tinny's gaze on him. Problems began to emerge. Urs looked very tired until his face turned pale. He still didn't know what happened, but the mosquito bites seemed to be getting worse. Not only that, there was a female climber who was being chased by a mutant bird. The woman fell and was stabbed by something from the bird. The woman asked for help from Tanja and the team. But unfortunately, one of them died from the bird attack. On the other hand, Yannick tried to pick up Tanja. He also saw a dead mountain goat with its entrails spilled out. Not long after, Yannick appeared and helped them take shelter as quickly as possible into the camp. They had to ask for help and had to use a satellite phone. Unfortunately, the satellite phone was taken by Bert, who was going with Falk to the measuring station to hide the samples and mutant ticks from the minister. This made Yannick upset. Why did Bert do that? This should not be hidden and must be handled immediately. Bert and Falk were already at the measuring station, but there Bert was attacked by the ticks and stuck to her face. Falk tried to remove the ticks from Bert's face, but unfortunately, Bert had lost her face and died. On the other hand, Tanja came to Yannick, who was with Tinny. Tanja was very sad to see Tinny. They had to end this. Tanja prepared an injection for Tinny. With a heavy heart, Yannick injected the liquid into Tinny until she died. This was indeed hard, but better than Tinny having to suffer longer. Another problem arises and more. Falk returns to the camp while shouting for the door to be closed immediately, because there is a mutant goat that is targeting him. The mutant goat is very fierce and wild, even to the point of destroying their camp. Minister Bodacek takes a drill and drills the goat's head. The atmosphere is getting tense. Falk lies to them that Bert has disappeared since they were attacked by the mutant goat. Yannick must find Bert and take her satellite phone. Accompanied by Falk and Tanja, they set off. Inside the camp, the female climber felt pain. It turned out that there was a creature walking on her feet. It seemed that there would be a creature ready to become a mutant coming out of the woman's feet. Before it became more dangerous, Minister Bodacek and the others decided to take the creature from the woman's feet, then burn the creature. The process was painful but successful. But not long after, Urs suddenly appeared from outside asking for help. But unfortunately, it was too late. Urs spread dangerous mosquitoes that came out of the bite on his neck. Everyone there became very chaotic, trying to take cover from the mutant mosquito attack. Meanwhile, Yannick, Falk, and Tanja were still looking for Bert. Falk continued to lie about what happened. Yannick thought that Bert might be in the cave. When they entered, a pungent smell began to sting their noses. And sure enough, the smell came from Bert. Yannick took his satellite phone, but behind Falk pointed a gun at them. Who knows what was on his mind? Then a mutant fox appeared and attacked Falk to death. Yannick and Tanja faced the mutant fox until they managed to finish it off. After finishing there, Yannick and Tanja returned to the camp. The camp looked very messy. Yannick thought no one survived, but it turned out that the minister and the remaining ones took shelter in Yannick's cabin. After successfully calling for help, Yannick and Tanja saw something terrible. His dog gave birth to a baby that looked like an alien. At first, Yannick wanted to finish him off, but Tanja forbade him and took him to be examined. In the end, they left the location, leaving their fallen friends.